Hello everyone. I hope you all be alright at your home. So welcome back to my class, and today we will discuss about the features of Java. Are you getting my point? In previous classes we had already discussed about the features of Java, but here we will discuss each and everything in very detail. Student, before going through any programming language, I would like to tell you there should be one platform where we will write the programs. Pay attention, student. There should be one platform where we will write our program. That is called editor. That is called editor. In this lecture, I am telling you what would be the different types of steps you will have to follow to write any types of programs. As well as I will discuss with you features, or you can say advanced features of the Java. Fine? So first, I would like to tell you to write any types of programming languages, we must have an editor, right? And in programming, that type of editor is known as IDE. That is called Integrated Development Environment. That is called Integrated Development Environment, IDE. The meaning of IDE, where we will write our program and where we will execute our program. What happens in IDE? In IDE, it provides the features to write the programs, to compile the programs, to execute the programs, and to see the result of the programs. Means from the beginning, in software industry we say from the developing, or you can say development to till deployment, whatever action you have to perform, that will be come under the IDE. That is called Integrated Development Environment. Here your BlueJ is your IDE to write the programs related to Java. It's a big line I am telling you. It's a very important line I am telling you, student. Integrated Development Environment, where you will write your program and you will develop your program. So here BlueJ is your IDE in which we will write the program related to Java. Fine? It's a part of Java, you can say, but we have different types of editors, and in which we have first editor, that is your BlueJ, and that is your BlueJava. Likewise, we can write our Java programs in Notepad also. We can write our Java programs in Edit also. So we are having a different types of editors. But the role of the IDE, which will provide the concepts of writing the programs, executing the programs, compiling the programs, interpreting the programs, saving the programs, and wherever your requirement will come, you can open the programs. So the whole process will be there. That is called IDE. In IT term, we say development as well as deployment of the programs. So deployment is the last phase of the any programs. Is that clear? Good. So today's student will discuss about the features of Java. We'll cover step by step each and every points. Fine? After completing the features of Java, we'll see about the character sets, functions, data type, and operators. So first, I would like to tell you about the features of Java. As we know that Java is your object-oriented programming language. We had already discussed in the previous class. It's a case-sensitive language. Case-sensitive language means where the requirement will be in the form of uppercase or in the form of lowercase. You have already seen all these types of examples where you have to write, where you have to use uppercase letter or capital letter, or where you have to use small letter. Second thing, Java doesn't support any header files. Fine. So all types of features we had already discussed. So why it is required to discuss over here about the features? Because we'll see some different features of the Java. So in which first I would like to discuss with you first features of the Java, that is your compile and interpret it. What we have? First, compiled and interpreted. Student, pay attention. Java is the first language who had used both types of translator. If I go with the translator, we are having three types of translator. How many translator? Three types of translator. Compiler, interpreter and assembler. Let me tell you about the compiler, interpreter and assembler. Compiler compiles the whole programs. And why do we have requirements of the translator? Because all these translators translate the high level languages into machine level language. So compiler and interpreter both translate the high level language into low level language. The difference is that compiler compiles the whole programs and shows all the errors at once or at a time. Suppose to be you have written 40 lines of the programs or 40 lines of the source of programs. In that case, what we will have to do? In that case, we will have to write the programs, we will have to see, or we will, before executing the programs, we will compile the programs. Your compiler will give all the errors at a time. But in the case of interpreter, it will execute line by line. So this is the big difference between the compiler and interpreter. But the common things, both types of translator will translate the high level language into low level language or machine level language. But the differentiation is that compiler shows or compiles all the programs at a time and shows all the errors at a time, while interpreter executes line by line. If any problem will come in the first line, then interpreter will not execute the next line. And what happens with the assembler? Assembler translates the assembly language into machine level language. So here Java was the first programming language who had used both types of translator, and that was compiler and interpreter. Student, it was the first programming language who had used both types of translator, compiler and interpreter. Now, whatever program we will write, that is called source code. That is called source code. And after compilation or interpretation, your program or your source code will convert into object code. So what happens over here? Compiler means once we will write our program source code, that will be converted by using the or by taking the help of compiler into first byte code. In Java, your compiler convert the source code into byte code. So student, first your source code will be converted into byte code by using the concept of compiler. Fine? In Java, your compiler will be Java C. Java C, C for cat. Java C. Java C will be your compiler name. But as we know that computer understand only machine level language. So your next time byte code will be converted into machine code by taking the help of interpreter. And here interpreter will be Java. Only Java. So Java C will be your compiler and Java will be interpreter. Are you getting my point? So why is using both types of translator? Because with the help of Java C compiler, our source code will be converted into byte code, and with the help of Java interpreter, our byte code will be converted into machine code. Is that clear? Here, Java C is your compiler name and Java is your interpreter name. I hope, is that clear? Good. Second one, we have platform independent and portable. Student, first we had already discussed about the compiled and interpreter. Second, we have platform independent and portable. What is the meaning of platform independent? Platform independent means our program will execute on any type of platform. It doesn't require the particular machine. It doesn't need the particular machine in which we have developed our programs. If I am going to copy these programs and I am executing these programs on another system, it would be a concept of platform independent. Means our program should execute on any machine frequently. We can carry these programs anywhere. We can execute our program anywhere. We can use our programs on worldwide web, on internet. This is the meaning of platform independent and portable. Are you getting my point? Third one, object oriented. Of course, I have discussed with you, Java is your pure object oriented programming language. Fine? Why I am using over here pure object oriented programming language? Student, pay attention on this line. It's a pure object oriented language. Everything in Java is your object. Everything. Whatever you will use, that will be introduced by object. That will be identified by objects. That's why I am saying everything in Java is based on object. I told you, I am telling you about it's a pure object oriented programming language. Because Java doesn't take the help of any other programming languages like C++. Because C++ is also object oriented programming language. But C++ compiles it accomplish so many features of the C. It combines so many features of C. And C is your procedural oriented language. I have already discussed about the procedural as well as object oriented in first section. Or where I had discussed with the object in encapsulations and polymorphisms, I had discussed with you. So here we will say Java is your pure object oriented programming language. Why? Because it doesn't take the support of any other programming languages, and each and everything in Java will be based on object oriented. Fine? Next we have robust and secure. Student, robust and secure. Robust means highly secured. Okay? Robust and secure means strongly. Robustness means strongly connected. Java is having strictly checking. It has strong checking at the time of compilation, at the time of execution. To observe any program, we have two states: compilation as well as execution. At the time of compilation, it will check the proper data types is given or not. Whatever data types you have given for the programs, whatever data types you have given for the variables, that is matching with your argument, that is matching with your values or not. That's why it is saying it's a robust and secure. Fine? Strongly checking. Strongly checking means strongly testing means at the time of compilation and at the time of executions. If any will be mismatched, supposed to be I have given integer a comma integer b, and I am passing the values related to any floating values like 3.5 and 4.6. So it will not accept decimal part, it will accept only integer part. So it is robust and secure, and basically this is the main feature. That's why your Java is more popular, because it's robust and secure. It's having the strong checking of the data types at the time of compilation and at the time of execution. Next, distributed. What we have? Distributed. The meaning of distributed? We can develop our modules in different parts. Suppose to be you have developed one program related to addition. So you can build your methods, you can design your functions in the form of addition. Some students have developed their programs in the form of multiplication. They can go with the multiplication forms. Some students have designed the programs related to subtractions. They can go with that. And distributed, that's why, because whenever we will go to execute our program, it will combine the features together, or it will combine the features simultaneously. Our program will be distributed mode. Next one, we have familiar and simple. Of course, Java is your familiar programs. Before Java, if you have used any type of programming language, then you will not feel uncomfortable with this type of programming language. Just because it supports, or it is simple to write. Okay? It supports so many features of the objects, and it gives you facility to go with the real words. Next, we have multi-threading programming. Student, multi-threading programming means multitasking, multi-programming, more and more tasks we can execute simultaneously. Okay? This is the meaning of multi-programming. And next one, that is called high performance. That is called high performance. Because of it supports at the time of compilation, or it supports so many features of the different types of platforms. So it gives the facility to users, it gives the facility to the others to execute their programs at high performance. Means whatever the result will come from this type of programs and application, that will be highly performed. Are you getting my point? Okay.